You gonna lock the door, yeah?
Hello beautiful humans and welcome to today's video. So today's video, if my camera's going to stay up, I don't know if it is, it's going to be about leg training whilst trying to progress your running. The main reason I'm doing this video is because so many people coming from just a purely gym background just think just because they've done a hack squat or they've got a very powerful squat that they will then subsequently be able to run lots of miles pain-free or injury-free. Like, nothing about the gym stuff really, traditional strength training, prepares our bodies for, there we go, nearly dropped it, prepares us for running. The amount of pounding on the tarmac, the amount of kind of forces going through our joints, it all just adds up to a shit ton of fatigue that if we don't adapt our training accordingly, you're going to end up with injuries. Injuries that are going to be enough for you to not train, injuries that are big enough for you to kind of want to fall out of love with running when you've just started. And the main reason people fall out of love with running is because they're injured. So we need to be thinking about, like, how can we manage our training long term, I'm gonna have to change gear, without just falling out of love with it. Because so many people, like, I want people to love running, and the main reason people don't love running is because they get injured. If you get injured, it takes hell of a lot of resilience for you to come back, especially at the start of a journey, especially at the start of starting something new. So it's important that we manage that transition as well as we can. So today's leg session is very similar. I do one leg session per week now, and I allow my running volume to kind of take up the rest of my demands on my lower body. It's transitioned a huge amount since the bodybuilding days. We're not sticking and we're not just trying to kind of exert as much force as we can. Sometimes we're actively choosing less stable environments and asking our body to stabilize. With bodybuilding, it'll be very much about where am I the strongest? Where can I exert as much force in a really controlled environment that I can elicit as much response from my muscles as I can? Whereas now we're thinking about which planes, which movements, which kind of angles do I know I work during running that I can then subsequently train in a controlled environment or potentially an uncontrolled environment, but in a safe manner. For example, most movements you won't be performing both legs together. Everyone needs to know that, like, running is a single leg movement. So you're gonna go into running with an imbalance, and you're probably gonna end up coming out of running with an imbalance. So we need to make sure that when we're training our legs, we are training them kind of fairly, and we're splitting our workload between the two like perfectly equal, so that there isn't as much of an imbalance being created. So come along with the video. If you enjoy the video, subscribe, like it, leave me a comment. If you want me to do any more training based stuff, let me know. I don't know if I'm going to do like a voiceover or whether I'm going to have the mic on and talk in the gym. The gym has been getting quite busy recently, so more for the respect of everyone else in the gym. I don't like recording just because some people, it puts them off, and I don't want to be that guy that creates a negative experience for anyone. So I'll try and squirrel my camera away in the corner and video if that's the case. But yeah, come along. Check all of my other videos as well. Like, there's tons of good content coming out. If you're on social media, Alex Project Sparks is where I'm probably most active, and All In Run Club as well. Some big things coming out of All In Run Club. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. You alright? You okay? So we're in the gym now. So first exercise is squats. So I'm going to be doing a high bar squat. And the reason I do a high bar squat is essentially it allows me to stay in a more upright position and subsequently challenge my quads a little bit more. The reason I want to train my quads more and be a little bit less of a hip dominant squat is just because I've spent years trying to get my quads bigger, and that is now my preferred squat pattern, and a more upright high bar squat as opposed to kind of a low bar squat. So I'm going to show you that on the squat behind me, and hopefully it goes all right. So we've got squats now, so you probably won't be able to see it, but I've actually got plates under my heels now. So the reason I've got plates under my heels is because it just frees up my chain a little bit and just allows me to get a little bit of a better kind of range of motion, subsequently at the ankle, and then that frees up my chain on my hips. Okay, so stay nice and upright, my torso is nice and tall. 3 seconds on the way down, pause, come in fast. And that doesn't actually feel that bad. considering I've got antibiotics in the system, chest infection, it doesn't actually feel that bad. So I'm going to put a little bit more weight on and see how it goes. So with squatting, and especially high bar squatting, I think it's really important that where you can, you try and break from your knees first. You can see here, I don't push my hips back, my knees travel forward over my toes. I also slightly point my toes outwards, and this allows room for my knees to track out, and subsequently there is a place or a space for my hips to come through. I'm actually really thinking about trying to get the back of my hamstring to touch my calf, and that is a full range of motion for me. The main thing here is that the plates help massively, so give them a go. Cool, so I'm trying to talk whilst I've got headphones in. I don't know how that's gonna go, so we'll see how it goes. So I think I've got like 120 on the 110, nothing too crazy. One more. That was alright. Didn't enjoy it too much. As with any leg day, there will always be some form of hip hinge in the exercise routine. Whether you use a barbell or whether you prefer to use a dumbbell is completely subjective. Here, I'm really trying to think about pushing my hips back to the window behind me. Then I start to set up, and arguably set up is the hardest part of this exercise, a Nordic hamstring curl. A Nordic hamstring curl is one of the exercises that is actually proven to reduce hamstring injuries long term. You need to find something that you can actually support your ankle with and is going to hold your body weight, because what you don't want is when you are putting a lot of force through that thing holding you in place that it falls over. So with a Nordic hamstring curl, what you are trying to do is you're really trying to control the eccentric portion of the lift and not necessarily worry too much just yet on the concentric. This eccentric loading removes your ability to load through your heel and subsequently really does work your full hamstring kind of capabilities. This is one that my physio has given me because arguably I'm very fucking weak in it. As you can see in the next clip, I essentially put a pad over my heels as well, just to make sure that I'm not getting too much discomfort through that ankle area. It's a really tough exercise to do well, and the finished product as such with this would be able to go all the way down and all the way up. For myself personally, I think for anyone starting out as well, you really need to just start on really making the eccentric as long as you can, maybe 5 seconds, before you even start to think or even consider contracting your body weight up. The leg extension now, so essentially leg extension and hamstring curl are single leg. I find that I do have a big disparity between the two now, so one leg is stronger than the other, especially my hamstring. I'm doing a lot of work now to make sure that my hamstrings are getting stronger, because they are where I've had my most recent injury. So leg extensions now. I am flagging a little bit now, so let's see how I get on. I'll start with my left leg. Oh, that's 8. Then like pulling my toe back as well. Why I think that's important is because essentially like I've learned to only ever train my hamstring with my heel on the floor. So now I'm basically teaching myself to learn it with my toe on the floor because that more mimics the running motion. Okay, so you'll see now that normally I would like pull my toe up like so. I'm actually like pointing my toe away from me. I'm getting all sorts of contractions in muscles that I never knew I even fucking had. Obviously it's not the best for hypertrophy, but it probably is the best for my kind of running technique. So we'll see how we get on. Always 3 seconds on the way down. Pause and squeezing it. Change legs. It's quite a good transition. Same again on this side. And now this leads me to an exercise that literally every runner should be doing, probably 2 or 3 times per week. And that is a strict single leg calf raise. Yes, you can do this body weight and it will probably humble you. However, you should be able to work up to 30 plus reps. And this would show that you probably have strong enough calves to be able to run good distances. You want to be lowering your body weight for 3 seconds, pausing for 2 seconds, and then contracting right up onto your toes. You can also see that my supporting leg is actually in a position very similar to a running form. You don't actually want to be putting tons of weight through that non-working leg. It is essentially there for balance, and you can also hold on to something as well. I always say to my clients, why not imagine that there is an egg underneath that non-working leg, and that means you can't put too much pressure through that step or box or whatever you're essentially resting your leg on. Nothing screams bodybuilder like a toilet. So here are the legs after the session. Still got a decent amount of muscle on. Not bad for a runner. Let's see what they look like in the mirror. Pretty fat now. So that's the session done. So I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously that was a leg day. I can do other ones if you wanted me to, as long as you kind of get a good response from these. So again, if you've got this far in the video, it's only going to be about a 10-minute long video, this one. So just leave me a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you have any ideas around like training and stuff, just give me a shout.